Today is September the 18th, 2013. My name is Tanya Finchum, along with Alex Bishop, and we're with Oklahoma State University, and we're doing a project on Oklahoma 100-year life, 100-year people who have lived to be 100 or older. And today we're in Skiatook, Oklahoma, to speak with George Creider. So thank you very much for having us today. Let's start with having you tell us when and where you were born.
I was born August 17th, 1912 in Red Cloud, Nebraska.
And what did your parents do for a living?
Well, Dad, I guess you would say, was a tailor. He made suits and also ran a dry cleaning shop.
Okay. And did you grow up on a farm or live in town?
Well, in town.
Did your mother work?
She done Dad's book work at the shop, for the shop, yes.
Okay. How had he learned to be a tailor? Where did he learn to be a tailor?
Where did he learn?
Mm-hmm.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I know he was a tailor in Red Cloud and ran a cleaning shop. And then after he and Mother were married, I don't know how many years, but he was an instructor in a suit building shop, where they made men's suits.
Okay.
And then I guess he traveled around quite a bit. We finally during World War I, he was a rural mail carrier. That'd be about 1915, going there. And of course, after I was a little taught by my grandparents, lived midway between on his route. So he'd take me up there at times, and I'd stay overnight, and he'd take me back home the next day.
And take you how? By horse?
By horse,
by
yes.
Horse.
Horse and his buggy. And he had, I think, 3 horses. And in real bad muddy weather, he'd use a team on his mail cart, those carts they used to have. But in good days, he used those single horse. There was a faster horse and a bigger. But he made his routes every day, which I believe he said there were 26 miles.
Oh. And how long did he do that?
I think to the end of the war.
Did you ever go with him?
No, only
just to your grandmother's?
Well, yes, I'd go with him, to my grandparents, then back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
How did he have that job? How did he come to have that job?
That I
You don't
know.
know. Well, where did you go to school?
Well, I went to the 1st grade in Esmond, and then we moved to Colorado Springs, and I guess I went to school there until, 1923, I believe it was. We moved to Chandler, Oklahoma, and so I went to school. I guess I was about 12 years old when I moved to Chandler, and I graduated from Chandler High School.
In what year?
33 to 32. 32.
And What brought you to Chandler?
That I don't know. That well, he had a job, I believe. How he got it, I have no idea. But he worked for a large clothing store as a done repair alterations and such as that on suits for them. Then we had he had a, I don't know the word, but he had a job offer in Chandler, Arizona, and one in Chandler, Oklahoma. The Arizona was supposed to let him know by a certain date, and they didn't. So that's the reason we ended in Oklahoma.
And been here ever since?
But
Have you been here ever since?
no,
No.
we moved to Broken Arrow in '33. Then we moved to Tulsa. 36. And then we moved up here in '68.
68. So in 36, that was around the Depression. Do you have anything to tell us about that?
Well, we in '33 we moved to Broken Arrow, and he ran that old Kentucky Colonel hotel there. And then in '35 we moved farm for a fellow that was sick. And then we moved to Tulsa in '36. And then here in '68.
Well, let's back up and say who we are. How many brothers and sisters did you have?
I have one sister and two brothers.
And where do you fall? Are you the
I'm the oldest.
oldest?
My sister's next.
Okay. Well, after high school, what did you do?
Well, I worked for Dad until I moved to Tulsa. Whatever he was in, I helped would work for him. So you can't say I did it.
Were you in World War II?
No.
No.
I was working for a steel company at that time, and we were doing a lot of government work. So I was, I guess you say, excused.
Excuse me.
I was what they call a checker. The people would lay out their steel and such, and then I checked it before it was processed.
Kind of like quality control.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. How long did you do that?
That I don't, maybe a few years.
But the
And at the end of the war, he was a truck driver for the shop, and he was rehired. He was hired as assistant superintendent. A shop schedule, you know. And my foreman thought he should have gotten quit until I got to be a foreman. And I don't remember how long I was that till I quit in '68, retired.
You retired in 68? Yeah. Your father was a jack of all trades then.
He was. And how he learned he could step into anything. He ended up with for a man that made remodeled fur coats for ladies. And he was a man that could just step into anything and make a go of it.
And were you kind of like that too?
I can't say so. I just, like I said, worked for the shop. I've done my job the best I could do. And I went to work there as a laborer the last day of August. And it was hot. I pulled my billfold up here. It'd be sweated clear through.
Very hot, yeah. Well, tell us about how you met your wife.
Well, a friend of mine one day, well, he wasn't a friend of mine, I knew him. And we was at the service station. He says, I'm going to go pick Maisie up. I didn't know. He said, why don't you just park downtown and we'll come by and we change cars because you got a better one. And before we parted, I had a date. I had a date with her.
Moved kind of fast there.
And from there, it went.
And what would you do on a date?
Nothing. Just ride around mostly. We'd go places. Well, one of our big deals, I wonder where this road goes. And we'd follow it out.
What'd you ride around in?
Ford. Most cars I had had been Fords. I did have one or two Chevys. I don't remember. But one of the first cars I had was one of those 1928 Dodge Fast Fords, they called them. I gave a whole $50 for it. And
Well, that was a lot of money then, though.
I drove it. My brother drove it, and he sold it to the other brother. It was in a very long time. Just an old beat-up Dodge touring car. No, it wasn't a touring car. It was an enclosed. Yeah, back there, and in the shop when I was about 14, I started delivering clothes. Now you couldn't do it today, but I've delivered clothes up to midnight. We had one customer that would give us on the phone and tell him to go get a pair of pants out of the closet. And I was go in the house to get it. We were trusted then.
You couldn't do that today?
You couldn't do that today. I've got an old cowboy hat in there that I gave a whole $2 for when I was in school. Do you think you could leave that hat hanging in the hallway nowadays? It hung there and nobody bothered it.
Well, how would you get to school?
Oh, we walked. We lived in town.
In high school, too?
Mm-hmm.
In high school. And that was in Chandler.
That was in Chandler.
What was Chandler like back in those days? Did he have a movie theater?
Oh, yes. H&S. Yeah. It ran nights and Saturdays and Sundays.
And that's where you would take your date?
Well, you.
Did you go to dances?
Pardon?
Dances?
I never learned to dance. I never did learn. I guess that's odd, but...
No. Well, was religion important?
You might say yes. I was a Methodist church there in Chandler.
Went most Sundays?
Pardon?
Went most Sundays? Went to church on Sundays?
Oh, yes. That was a must. At least one service on Sunday. And, of course, you had little meetings with the youth group. I'm trying to think of the name. Epworth League, I think is the name.
What would you do for fun?
Well, mostly just ride around. Again. And back then, you couldn't do it today. Strip downs. Take a Ford car and all you had was a steering wheel and you sit on the gas tank. Didn't have a body. Because I wonder we hadn't got killed. Addicts were done with those things.
On dirt roads or
Pardon?
on the dirt roads?
Yes.
On dirt roads.
Oh, yes, and 5 miles an hour in town. And if you were doing 15 on the highway or 20 miles, say 25, you were speeding. Those 3 pedals down on the floor.
Oh, clutch.
No gear shift. You had your cruise control, which was two little levers under the steering wheel, and this was gas and this was a spark. And the further down it was faster you go. And you had your turn signals, which was you're going to turn right, left. Oh, that's left. That was stop. This was right. And you had a heater in it. That is, if you bought a deal that sat over the manifold and come down and you drilled a hole in the floorboard. And if you didn't want the heat, you had to put something over it, the hole. You had a thermometer. That is, if you bought a gadget of that on the hood, the water radiator. And something else. Oh, and your windshield wiper was this. That was.
And how much?
And and if you had a long hill to go, you better turn around here at the bottom and back up, because you had to keep that gas tank higher than the carburetor.
Had to put it in reverse, huh?
Huh?
Go in reverse?
Mm-hmm. And that was the middle pedal down here on the floor. You had 3 pedals on the floor. You let your brake go. That put this one in neutral. That's low. That was high. If you want to reverse, put this in one in neutral, and this is your reverse pedal. And this is for your brake.
No clutch.
No clutch. No shift. It's all done right there. And there's you had a brake on the rear wheels, but they was controlled with this lever. And they were just parking brake, you might say. They were fun to drive.
Did you ever wreck one?
No, not in there, but I've had a wreck. Oh, when was it? I don't know. Oh, yeah. We was driving down the road and we were just about even with each other, and this fella decided to turn. But nobody was hurt. No damage because they were both junk cars.
Well, back in those days, Chandler was the Route 66.
Yes. Route 66 came through there. And 18 north and south. I don't know. That's been a long time ago.
Can you tell us a little bit about your work at the steel? You said you worked with a steel company,
Yes,
and what type of?
we built oil drilling rigs. We built platforms. Well, I think my nearest, there was one time we had a frame that was about 20 foot high, and we were assembling it, and we had what we called spreaders, and we had the chain just wrapped around it, just so it rolled in there. As he raised it, it rolled in the chain, and was up there, and the spreader wouldn't go into the structure because it was like that. It wasn't like this. And I took a hold of that chain, was looking out as he took up, and he went out that way. And one of the fellows said I clumbed that chain 3 times. And I finally ended with my arm over one side of it, and I was standing on a metal beam. And I was so happy that the fellow up there with me didn't grab for me, because he'd have fallen off. But that was it. They asked me to get down, and I said, I can't. I was hung, pinched. And he said, well, how are you going to do it? I said, let the train driver ease off. It did. It just rolled off my arm. Didn't hurt me at all. And let me down on the ground.
Sounds like a pretty risky job.
Yeah, it was. I've seen some, guys get their knees taken off. Fingers, there's a little one.
You lost a finger, huh?
Huh?
Was that from work? Was that a work-related injury?
I don't know. I was holding a pin. Now, as a piece of shafting, it was about that long, about that big around. And I was holding it for the guy to drive it in, and he hit it and it bounced off, and I hit the end of the beam, edge of the beam. Cut it off. And my back I've had for years. I think I got it back there when I was a laborer. But
And what company did you work for?
it was Lacey Moore. Lacey Moore.
And where were they located?
Pardon?
Where were they located?
They were located on Peoria and Latimer Street, I believe it was.
In Tulsa?
In Tulsa. And after the boy's father passed away, he moved out to the water deal, ferry. Where are they? Out there by, is it Catoosa?
Oh, it's Tulsa. Mm-hmm.
And he moved out there, and I think now whether it's still going, it evidently is, because I'm still getting a little bonus check,
You're still getting paid.
I'm still getting paid.
For how many years again did you work for them?
40.
40 years.
That's a long time for one place.
Well, then they have had a plant back in Pittsburgh, and after I retired, I made 3 trips back there to, I guess you should say, instruct people how to do things, how to straighten beams and channels. This mill has a tolerance, but it has, you know, it might be a little bold, and we got to have it straight and show them how to straighten that stuff. And
You probably taught them quite a bit.
pardon?
You probably taught them quite a bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How many children do you have?
One,
Just one?
that thing there.
And is she a little spoiled?
Huh?
Is she a little spoiled?
I think she was. But I'm so happy she decided to look after me.
What's one of the fondest memories you have as a parent?
I can't say.
You walked me down the aisle and got rid of me.
She says the day she got married.
Well, that was one.
Got rid of me
her.
that day.
Got her out of the house. No. I don't know. I can't say.
Well, would you take vacations?
Hmm?
Would you take vacations?
Yes. I got a whole 2 weeks a year.
What was a typical vacation like for you?
Pardon?
What was a typical vacation like for you?
Oh, we just have somewhere to drive, someplace to go to see something, a park or something like that, you know. And I guess that's about it. Go visit some relation, probably.
Did you have a special place you particularly enjoyed?
Where, Bill?
Where?
Where?
Where would you like to go?
Well, I'd like to make a trip to California sometime, but we never did. And something came up that kept us from going.
Well, do you remember seeing your first airplane?
No, I don't remember. But it had to be way back in the two-wing one.
A biplane? What about your first television?
Our first television. What was it, baby? Just a little thing.
It's smaller than that.
And we all got right in front of it. And it came
Black and white.
on about 6 o'clock, I think, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Something like that.
Not at 10.
And with that snow, and finally have started a program. And I don't know if we had trouble with it or not. I don't remember being, go off every once in a while. I don't remember. But there's been, these telephones. That's something we never thought of. I can remember grandma's too short and they're all long. And then everybody in the country's on the party line. Listened in.
No secrets.
No
No
secrets.
secrets.
Oh, horses. We had a little Shetland pony when we were, I guess 13, 14, 15 long in there, and a buggy, and burros. We had a burro. That was the most gentle thing you ever saw. You could pile kids on her from her neck to her backside, tailbone, and she was all right. You got to walk under her, crawl under her, anything. It didn't make a difference. She never hurt anybody.
What was her name?
That I don't know, remember.
Mm-hmm.
Now we lived in a little acreage for a while outside of Chandler, and I could ride a horse into town, turn it loose, and it'd go home. And I'd have to ride home with Dad.
Sounds like you maybe walked a few times too.
She was a good one. Then this Shetland pony, though, some kids had her that were more or less cowboys, and you could ride her as long as you didn't touch her flank. Well, if you touched your flank, you was on the ground. But otherwise, if you never touched her flank, you was all right. I guess they were making her, trying to make her buck, you know, and she could do it.
Now, what do you? What's a typical day for you at 100? At your age now, what's a typical day?
Right now,
Yeah.
eat and sleep.
What time do you get up?
I get up about 5:30, and I go out and feed the cats, and then I'll come in and get my thyroid pill, take it, and I get the book out and read it. And about 7, it used to be, we had a different mail carrier. You could go out at 6 o'clock and get the paper, but now I wait till 7. We got it 1 now. I've made as high as 4 trips out there after.
Get your
Now,
exercise.
so I just wait till 7 o'clock. And I get the paper.
Then what?
Pardon?
Then what?
Then I come in here and Roy makes some coffee and we look at the paper. He reads it and I'm getting to now where all I read is the headlines, and I get after I get everybody gets out, I try to get this whole thing out. Because I'm getting to where I can't read that small print anymore.
What types of books do you read?
Well, I've got about 100 Louis L'Amour books in there. I've read them twice. My brother has read them. My friend has read them. And I'm on my 3rd time.
3rd time's a charm. So you like westerns?
Yeah, these are all Western Louis L'Amour.
I'm darn. This one's Fallen. Fallen is the name of this. Fallen. So you're a Louis L'Amour fan.
Mm-hmm.
You're a Louis L'Amour fan.
That's pretty good. And you used to collect trains?
Well, my brother-in-law, he was making HO model trains, so he kind of got me interested. And I had a pretty good sized layout out there. And I just, both of us just lost interest in it for some reason. I don't have no idea. And I just quit. And I don't know what started me getting these screw saws. but I started that. And I've made a lot of,
You got
I
you
just-
your
I just
first
give
train
away.
set.
well, I guess I've sold a few, maybe 20 or 30.
How did you learn how to do that? Just
They have a pattern, and you draw it out on a 1/8 plywood, and so he shows it also. And then I've lost interest in that. Of course, when I got to where I couldn't follow the line, so I quit. There wasn't any use wasting paper. I mean,
wood.
plywood.
Well, when you decided to retire, did you have plans?
No, just work on this place. This was a vacant lot. And brother and I put up fence. I built that barn by I started saying by myself, but one evening, here come all the neighbor guys over. I built the rafters and had them down there. I was a pole barn, is what it was intended to be. They'd have the hose open, and they put that up. That's all the help I had. I built the rest of it. They just set them up there for me, and I built the whole rest of it. That's the middle one now. He's
The big one.
ones they brought in one for the rabbits and Roy's key shop, and but I hadn't planted trees. Yeah, friend across the street's brother worked down in, I want to say Wright City, but down in that area where that big pine lumber company,
Warehouse.
they have their lumber mill down there, and they have these little shoots, plants, and he bring up and plant them. Boy, they're hard to plant. I have an old not axle, drive shaft, punch a hole, put it in, drop it, that's it. That's planted.
But does it grow? But does it grow?
Look at those trees down there.
Yeah. What do you? What's your secret to longevity?
I don't think there's a secret. I think mostly it is just have something to do, keep busy, something.
And do you have yourself? Do you have a motto you live by, or a philosophy of life?
I don't know. I've not really thought of it.
Did you ever think you'd live to be 100?
Heavens no. Heavens no. I didn't intend to.
Well, when you turned 99, you said one more year?
Well, I guess so. But they had my birthday on my 90th, and I don't know what I said. She says, there'll be a birthday on 10 years from now, too. I said, no, there won't. But she made a liar out of me. And another 10. I tell you, it just not being able to do anything Of course, like I say, I go get the paper in the morning. She won't let me go get the mail unless I catch her gone. I sneak out there and get it.
You take the trash out. That's one of your chores.
You still have chores today.
Yes.
Yeah. I take out their trash bag and they all drink about a pop. And so I have cans to smash. And the paper, I take it out, bag it, or take it to recycling. But some morning, like this morning, I didn't have any trash. And only 2 or 3 cans, that's not worth taking out.
It was an easy day today. An easy day today. It was easy day
Yeah,
today.
it was an easy
Yeah.
day. Yes.
And how late do you stay up?
Well, I usually go in around 9:45 or something like that, and go to bed.
And get up at 5:30.
Pardon?
And then get up at 5:30.
Well, this morning at 5, I got up. I have no clock, so I was 10 minutes early this morning. So I didn't go back to bed. I just slept like a hill. That's another thing that aggravates me is after I get the paper, and I call it passing out, just go to sleep. And Roy lets me. I tell him, wake me up. He lets me sleep.
Well, do you,
Maybe for 30 or 40 minutes, maybe the longest. A lot of times it's maybe 30 minutes, mostly.
a little cat nap? A little cat nap.
Yeah. And it seems like I can go out in the daytime. Usually go out because they try to freeze me in here. That's ridiculous.
And now, when history is written, what do you want it to say about you? What do you want to be remembered for? Or what do you hope others remember
I
you?
have no idea. What would people want to, Beverly?
Don't ask me. You tell me.
What would you hope people like your family? What do you want to be remembered for? What do you hope they?
Because I have no idea what they want.
A good provider.
Hmm?
A good provider.
Yeah,
Well,
it was.
Always, we've never had to get beg or anything like that. No, we've always been able to purchase what we needed.
Mm-hmm.
But you might say a good provider, I guess that's about as good as you get.
If someone asked you for advice on how to live to be 100, what would you tell them?
Well, one thing, leave cigarettes alone and the bottle alone and behave yourself. I smoked for a couple of years. And 1 year, I smoked 3 to 4 packs a day. One day, one of the other foremen come by and took my cigarettes out of my pocket. Said, I'll quit if you will. And I said, put them back and I'll quit with you. So I carried them for a couple, 3 weeks. And I might get one to my mouth, and I don't remember, and it went back in the pack. As far as whiskey, daiquiris and such as that's the only way I got them. I've never drank a drop of straight whiskey. And as far as chasing around, you'd have to make the best right. I never saw anybody I wanted to marry. So, I guess it turned out to be a hermit.
Well, that just leaves, what would you eat? Did you have a special diet?
Well, no, I guess not. Right now, they fix my meals. Because once in a while, I'll get a sandwich in at noon, and on it I'll just have of course, not Miracle Whip and slice of cheese and a slice of bologna, and then a bag of chips and doused with a little honey.
Honey?
Yeah. I almost got that done. Just about that. We just put me first, try to squeeze it.
Well, when you were growing up, what was your favorite meal your mother fixed?
Lord, I don't know.
Fried chicken?
That's one of the good ones. That's a good one. Fried chicken. And I don't, did you or Debbie make the pancakes the other day? They were just about that big. Mom made the size of the plate. And eggs nowadays are not like the old eggs. Or the chickens ran free out there and picked up the bugs and the seeds and such as that. Well, the lady next door, she was going to die, and she said he wouldn't eat these eggs because she bought country eggs. They were, that yolk had a color to it instead of that pale yellow, you know.
Yep.
He thought something was wrong with them. They were good, they had a flavor. Eggs now, they're good, yes, but not like the old ones.
You definitely don't get a double yolked one anymore.
So then double yolks are hard to come by. Double yolks.
Yeah, right, yeah, we used to get a lot of double yolks. Yeah. If you want to hatch them, you better kettle them. So then you get a double yolk in there. Have 2 chicks in it, one more.
Well, if you had to do something over again, is there something?
I believe if I knew what I knew now, just go to work for the shop. I think one probably, or Mary and Rosie, one together. I guess Mary and Rosie would be the better one. But I don't know. They treated me real good, I thought, because, well, the owner of the place one day come up to me and touched me on the shoulder and, when are you going to grow up? That's when I hadn't been there but 2 or 3 years. And I don't know. I guess I had one way with the guys, that my crews. I give them a job, and I wouldn't tell them how to do it, because I figured their way will be quicker and cheaper than my way telling them what to do. If they wanted to ask questions, then I'll give them my view, you know. But they've been there, been there too, and they knew what their job was. And we always got what we always met our dates that we were supposed to have it done. And they were, well, like I say, I'm still getting
A little bit of money.
And he still talks to some of the guys he worked with. They still call him every once in a while.
You still have your workers calling you?
Well, there's one that calls every once in a while. Of course, I can't hear on the phone. Roy talked to one here a while back. And well, what did you tell Roy?
Oh.
Not the best boss he ever worked for.
Uh-huh.
I think that's one of them. And he was one of my good men too. And of course, he's the only one that really calls me. But those others, I got Christmas cards from, 3 or 4. There are not many of us left.
Well, besides going to California, what else would you want to do?
Oh, I have no idea.
You've done it all, huh?
Well, no, I haven't done it all, but I guess I've done my share. Like I say, I never run around. You know.
Had a pretty good life?
Well, I think so. I've never thought. Up until about 2 months ago, I'd only been in the hospital with my knee, my tonsils. It seemed to me like there was something else. I can't think of what.
And your finger?
Hmm?
And your finger?
No, I didn't go to the hospital. I just went to the doctor's office.
That's a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
And what kind of, so besides your thyroid medicine, do you take any other?
Well, I take a little baby aspirin. A baby aspirin. That one.
Vitamins.
That's that.
Calcium.
And that's them.
That's pretty good too.
The thyroid's on prescription. These are all good. Take off the shelf.
Well, I hope I'm that lucky.
I really feel lucky on that because I'm outside of my back. I had the words.
Anything you want to add before we close out?
I guess not. Just,
Well, we thank you very much for sharing.
okay, you're welcome.